Okay, back in September of 2020, what happened was I wanted to climb up on a chair to put something up on a bookshelf. So I was in a hurry, and the chair I selected was like this leather slung chair I had a folded blanket on it. And so I climbed up on it, and when I climbed up on it, the blanket slipped out from underneath me, and I catapulted over the backside of the chair. Chair's still standing, but I went flying over the backside. And I landed on the backside of my head. That was the first thing to hit the floor. And I knew from that I would need to go to emergency. So I did go to emergency, and they said I had a concussion, and that I would need to go see a neurologist. So I did go see the neurologist, and he checked me out, and he didn't see any problems. So what I was experiencing after the fall, though, was I had that dizziness come up, a dizziness and a whooshiness, and I was unable to look up or down, and I couldn't turn my head from side to side. I could only do that to about here, and that was all I could do. Unfortunately, in my past, I've had these a few accidents where I've had head blows, and so the last time that I had a bad one, I ended up going to an ENT doctor, and the when I went to the ENT doctor, not only did it not change anything, it made it worse. Mm-hmm. And somebody gave me a referral to a physical therapist that dealt with this kind of problem. So I went to that physical therapist, and they were able to correct it. So I knew that I needed to get to a physical therapist. In my mind, that was what I was going to do, that it had more to do with the calcium carbonate crystals in here for balancing in my ears, that they had been knocked out of place and needed to be treated. So I found a physical therapist and went to them. I probably had about 15 visits or so. Mm-hmm. They'd do a treatment, and then it would just still be way off, so I felt like I wasn't functioning. So they recommended that I come back. So whether it was a day or 3 days or a week or so, I would drive all the way out there, and not close to home, and I would drive all the way out there, and they would treat. So I think finally I decided that the therapy with them was not working. Mm-hmm. And that's when I sought you out, because I knew that you had had that experience, and I was able to thankfully find you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is a very common story, unfortunately. So, head injuries are a common way to get vertigo. And we see that all the time. And then a very common story of went to the emergency room, whether it was a head injury or whatever mm-hmm. cause, went to the emergency room, saw a neurologist, mm-hmm. saw an ear, nose, and throat doctor. Very common story that we hear. They'll go to those specialists. And oftentimes with vertigo and other dizziness and vestibular problems, people don't find the right solution going down those routes. Mm-hmm. In this case, you end up with a physical therapist who is supposed to be a specialist in it, still is taking 15, 16 visits. And oftentimes we find that's the case because even vertigo, which is, I would say, the most clear-cut inner ear balance problem, is still not clear-cut and can be difficult to treat.